Welcome to my video about how to join yarn in the round. Have you seen this confusing instruction on items that are knit in the round? Now, a lot of the designs that I make are knit in the round, and so I use it on almost every pattern. However, I have noticed on occasion that some of my clients are like, what does this mean? Especially if you're a beginner and you haven't had to do it. Now, there's a couple tips and tricks for joining yarn in the round, but I just like to keep it simple. So the first thing you usually have to do is you have to distribute your yarn between needles. Now I've cast on the stitches for a mitten I'm about to make using long tail cast on. Ordinarily, most of my cast ons or most of my designs use super stretchy cast on, which is really great for ribbed edges. However, this mitten has a seed stitch edge, so it doesn't need that. For the super stretchy cast on, I actually cast that onto 3 needles as I go. I'll cast on about a third of the stitches plus 2 more. Then I'll move those 2 stitches over to the next needle, and then I'll keep going, and I'll do that all the way around until I have enough stitches. And the reason is because of that, the type of cast on that is, it makes it easier to do that and keep it without having any extra space between the needles. However, for long tail cast on, I find it easiest to cast on all the stitches at once onto one needle and then distribute them and then join in the round. The joining in the round is the same no matter what kind of cast on you use. So first of all, I'm going to take my stitches and I'm going to move them between onto 2 other needles. Hang on. Okay, I now have my stitches distributed roughly evenly between 3 different needles. I've made sure that I don't get my cast on edge twisted around, because I need to make sure that I don't get it mixed up, or I'll have a big problem when I join. So I've kept my cast on edge in the middle, all in a row. Now I was casting on over here. This is the side I actually need to be working with, so I'm going to flip this whole thing over. Make sure my tail goes down, and my ball end needs to go up through the middle of my 3 needles. Now this is a little bit awkward just because I'm going to be knitting from this needle onto this needle just to start, but as I said, I like to keep it simple as far as joining means. I simply put on a marker and then I start on my next row, just as if it was meant to be that way. So by joining, all I'm doing is actually just moving on to the next round. Some people have little tricks to make it so that there isn't a beginning of the round bump. However, I find that when I do this, and you can see on the mitten that I already made, that was where I cast on. That was my beginning of the round right there. All I do when I'm done is I take that tail and I weave it in such a way that you can't tell where the beginning of the round was. There's no major bump there or anything to give it away. So my first few stitches for this pattern, I've got a knit and a purl. I usually put at least 1 or 2 stitches from my next needle onto this one, just to keep it so that there's not a lot of space in the yarn between the 2. Oops, sorry. So I'm simply gonna knit. This would be my slip knot that I made to start my long tail cast on. I don't always use a slip knot, but I did this time because I was demoing it. And then I knit that one, take it off, and now I have joined in the round. I can just take my next needle and go on from there. And that's it. Thank you for watching my video about how to join yarn in the round. I have more tips and tricks and stitch tutorials on my website at www.talinawinters.com/stitch-tutorials. Happy knitting!